Welcome back, my friends. So here we are again. We're going to watch something new today. We're going to try watching this Life Beyond. A lot of people have been recommending this for a long time, so let's get into that. Before we do, thank you to everyone who's come and tried out my software. If you're new around here, I'm building something called CalVPN. It's a brand new kind of VPN and you can use it for free. It's what we're calling a post-quantum VPN because it's got things in it called post-quantum algorithms. And this is literally the first post-quantum VPN of its kind. So you should come use it for free. It's pretty exciting, and if you want to follow my journey, come subscribe. I really appreciate every single one of you guys. It means a lot to me. And I have been tempted to make this just open source, but the problem is, it does cost money for the service. We're using AWS and it costs actually money. So, we will have to implement some kind of paid scheme there, but hopefully you guys don't mind too much because supporting that will support me on this YouTube channel, and that would mean a lot to me. So you'll actually get something out of supporting my YouTube as well. So hopefully that works for you guys. And then the last thing, you should come sign up for the Daily Dance email. I send out this email every single day and I break down the latest in science, and it's, this really tidy, easy to read format. You can skim through it in 2 minutes, see what's happening in the world of science, and it makes it easy to keep up to date. I add a little personal note every day and, to begin with, and as well as some AI art. And I really enjoyed writing that. We have about 1,300 people opening it every single day, and they seem to be getting some value out of it. So you should come sign up for free. Alrighty, Life Beyond, Chapter 1, Alien Life, Deep Time, and Our Place in Cosmic History. So this thing is long, 30 minutes. So this is going to be a long video, so buckle up. And I just wanted to say before we start, I am working on more anime videos. We haven't touched those anime for a while. I promised you a Steins Gate sequel for a long time. We're going to do that, and I'm excited to watch more of it. Follow your curiosity, lead humanity forward. That is awesome. I already love the video. 2 possibilities exist. You're a douchebag or you're not. Either we are alone in the universe or we are not. Alrighty then. Follow your curiosity, lead humanity forward. Oof, I like that. I already love the video. 2 possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe or we are not. Could be more possibilities. Both are equally terrifying. Arthur C. Clarke, my favorite author. Has this guy created all of this stuff? Like, is this all Melodysheep? Or if it is, that's just insane. This is absolutely phenomenal stuff. And as paired with the music, I'm guessing he's going to have people talking over, like famous people like that, which I'm okay with. That's, as a young guy, that's what I listen to, stuff like that all day, every day. So let's watch it together. The answers lie somewhere in distant space and distant time. Oh. This is getting me excited. First time the truth is finally within our reach. You can almost taste it. It's right there. We just gotta reach out, Unfortunately, we all just want to sit around and eat chicken and talk about the Kardashians. Let's get out there. Anyway, let's not pause this video too much, We're gonna be here all day if we do that. The search will reveal who we are. Actually, now stuff that. I'm gonna enjoy this. We're gonna talk about whatever we want to talk about and who we might become. Wow. Life beyond. Beyond what? I'm kidding. The dawn. Reminds me of the dawn of man. That opening bit of 2001. In the search for life out there, we must look inward. I'm getting goosebumps. Heavy elements. They come from exploding stars.
Such as water.
Water. Yes.
Why? Well, in gases, atoms move past each other so fast that they can't hitch up. In solids, atoms stuck together. They can't move. In liquids, they can cruise and cuddle and link up to form molecules.
So that's coming at it from a chemistry point of view. That's, if you go to physics, which is a more fundamental view of what's happening, it's actually a little bit incorrect, because even in solids, you have atoms, they're moving, they're jiggling, as Feynman would say. There's a lot of motion, and particularly, if you go to, like electrons and the things inside, even atoms, the particles, smaller subatomic particles, they're always jiggling around. So beautiful. I will gladly sit here and watch this for half an hour. The exact recipe is still a mystery, but the ingredients for life are simple: energy, organic molecules, and liquid water. Hey. That was a big step. Somewhere in the seas of early Earth, basic chemistry became biology, perhaps even more than once. Still a bit of a mystery, all of that stuff. The first cells were likely born in hot volcanic waters in conditions once thought impossible for biology. This is true. Hydrothermal vents at the bottom of oceans. This is why we're looking in, places in our solar system that could host such vents. Like, we think there is a subsurface ocean on Europa between the crust. We think there's ice, has an icy crust, and we think there could be hydrothermal vents down there. We see plumes, and there's a bunch of other moons in the solar system where this could be actually happening. And we could discover life in these places very soon. You've got missions like the Europa Clipper mission. NASA is sending out this little thing that's going to sample the plumes being launched out of Europa's, icy crust. It's going to see what's in that water. And then we're going to send something to Europa, and it's going to drill underneath that surface and see what's in the ocean. The closer we study life, the more extreme places we find it thriving. So this is an important point. Obviously, we don't need to talk about this. I'm sure he's going to, but we have a sample size of 1. We don't know really what life could be like. It could come in all shapes and sizes, all forms and all kinds of chemistries. We have no idea. So just, you really got to bear that in mind.
Here on our planet, microbes have adapted to survive the most hostile conditions. Arid deserts, the frozen Himalayas, in trenches under thousands of tons of pressure in the ocean deeps. In the vacuum of a space simulator, life forms have been flourishing for years without oxygen.
Now research suggests that life emerged over 4 billion years ago when Earth was an alien and deadly place. Yeah. In my home country, you got evidence of things called cyanobacteria, stromatolites, these little rock formations in these little pools on the coast of Western Australia. Perth, most isolated city in the world over there. And just in the shallow waters, we think that is some of the earliest life on Earth. I think there actually is one location where it's even older, but it's cyanobacteria still. But I wouldn't be surprised if we find life even earlier, and it probably emerged almost immediately. We think Earth is about 4.6 billion years old. So if we find life emerging almost instantaneously, I think that suggests it's going to be very common, and it's going to just pop up wherever it can in the universe. The planet was ravaged by intense volcanism and an asteroid storm that lasted 100 million years. Yes. So the generally accepted reason for that very early bombardment is basically like there's a lot of stuff left over from our solar system forming. Our star formed, enough stuff come together, it collapsed into what now is the sun, right? And there was so much material out there that eventually came together to form the planets, that a lot of this stuff was still flying around, smashing into the planets. And there's even more recent research coming out since this video is released, suggesting that the amount of impacts in that early period was actually something like 10 times greater than what we previously thought. And you're talking about impacts, similar to what wiped out the dinosaurs, happening every 15 million years, and even bigger. So that's crazy. Imagine the impact on the early Earth. And there's other hypotheses for what could have caused that early bombardment, such as a potential planet 5, a fifth terrestrial planet possibly could have been the cause. And there's actually a few others, but you know, let's just leave it at that for now. You know, like for instance, the outer planets. Some, you know, people think that they took a long time to form, several billion years, and you know, that would have caused a lot of material to be flying around the place as well. But anyway, let's continue.
We know that life began here.
We actually don't, because, you know, you might have heard of something called natural panspermia. Life could have actually arisen on Mars. You know, an asteroid impact, something could have flown off, and, you know, those, what are they called? The water bears. They could have, you know, hitchhiked, or even just, you know, more microbial life could have hitchhiked their way to Earth, and then it started. So it is a real possibility.
Because it happened quickly here on Earth, we think it's going to happen quickly on other planets as well.
Makes sense. That is beautiful. Wowee. The story of Earth gives us hope that life could be universally common. Absolutely. Teaches us that life is fast-acting, tenacious, and made of basic common ingredients. Yeah, personally, I think it's going to be everywhere. Probably every star system. Every star system we know now has planets, we think. So I think it'll probably be also the case we'll find in the future, and it'll humble us even further. And, you know, imagine, I didn't say this in the other video that I mentioned this, imagine if we found intelligent life around every star system. After 4 billion years of isolation, the search for our cosmic kin has finally begun. Cosmic kin, it's cool. Where there is water, there is life. And so our best chance is to look for ocean worlds like Earth. I agree. Our search for Earth-like planets has only just begun, and the findings are tantalizing. Yes, hell yes. Kepler 62f, distance 1200 light years, size 1.4 times Earth, temperature greater than or equal to negative 85 degrees Fahrenheit. TRAPPIST-1d, distance 41 light years. Yes, the TRAPPIST system is so cool. Talked about it before on this channel. It's around a red dwarf. And, you know, for a long time we thought life would struggle around a red dwarf for reasons you can find in other videos. But very recently I'm seeing even more research. A new theory has just come up suggesting, I didn't put it in the dance the other day, I was gonna, that planets with life should be expected around red dwarfs. So that's really exciting. Hopefully that theory, you know, is correct. Look at this one, 12 light years away. Obviously, these are just artistic interpretations. You know, we don't actually, you know what these planets look like just yet. K2-18b, 111 light years. Confirmed atmospheric water vapor. You have barely scratched the surface. Nature's trove of secrets is bottomless. Yeah, also recently you might have seen JWST has, you know, looked into the atmospheres of nearby planets, and we even saw a sandstorm, a dust storm on a nearby planet, sorry, and we confirmed carbon dioxide in a planet's atmosphere, which is crazy. It's so cool. If we see greenhouse gases, that could be a sign of life. That's what people are calling biosignatures, because there's not many ways naturally these things could come about. So yeah, very interesting times. I can't wait to see what JWST finds. Anyway, we barely scratched the surface, and I've already said this. Epic. That's so cool. Flying jellyfish. Hell yes. Reminds me of the life you can read about in, you know, that 2001 series I mentioned by Arthur C. Clarke, the very first quote of this video. And Arthur describes this life form that, you know, flies around in the clouds of Jupiter. And they're basically clouds, but it's alive. They're alive. It's really cool. He full on describes the ecosystem. It's so incredible. Looking at the raw numbers, the existence of alien life seems almost inevitable. Yes, it does. The latest data suggests that up to 1/4 of stars have rocky planets orbiting in their habitable zone, the right distance for liquid water. in our Milky Way galaxy alone. That's approximately 50 billion worlds like Earth. That is a very cool looking Milky Way. Yeah, that's a lot of Earths. In the entire universe, the possible number of habitable planets is staggering. 100 quadrillion, I think that is. Let me verify that. 100,000. No, it's 100 quintillion. I was wrong. Imagine each flash of light represents an Earth-like planet. Wow, that's such a beautiful, the music. You would have to watch this animation for over 1 billion years to view them all. Getting chills again. This is amazing. Wow. Each one with a history as rich and unique as Earth. That's so beautiful. Binary star system. Got more planets in this one. Sensational. Got chills again for like the 4th or 5th time now? Probably more. Trillions and trillions of chemical soups stewing for eons. This video is just me saying, that's awesome the whole time. Yes, I know. Among this abundance of worlds, many will be deadly to life as we know it. There will be planets in the habitable zone that are scorched, frozen, and suffocated by poisonous gases. Yeah, there's a lot I could say here, but I'm sure he's going to talk about it. Many will lack an atmosphere critical for temperature regulation or have one that is deadly. Wow. Just a quick pause. I'm sure, you know, a lot of you feel, you know, get like existential crises from watching videos like this, or you just sort of want to know why, like what is going on after you watch stuff like this. And you might need some philosophy in your life after, you know, watching something like this. Highly recommend coming and watching my other videos. We just did one called Optimistic Nihilism. Come check it out if, you know, videos like this scare you. You know, there's philosophies and there's ways to look at these things and think about these things that make you feel good. I promise. So, you know, you don't need to feel scared or worried. But anyway, I'm sure a lot of you, I'm probably preaching to the choir here. Just in case there's any young'uns out there, we got to take care of them. What is that? That was cool. Venus, once thought to potentially support life, is now sterilized by a crushing, toxic atmosphere. Yeah, runaway greenhouse effect. We're kind of worried that it's something like that could eventuate on Earth. We currently don't think that's what's going to happen, but it still could. You know, 500 degrees on the surface of Venus, that doesn't sound like fun. There's lots to be said there, but anyway. But life may not be confined to the habitable zone. Absolutely not. For instance, Venus, we think, you probably saw the news recently, you know, well, not that recently anymore, but we thought we found life floating in the clouds of Venus where the temperatures are like, you know, a nice summer day. So there could be, and we could even, you know, put a colony floating in the clouds of Venus. It's completely possible. And doable with current tech, by the way. Far from the warmth of their star, the moons of giant gas planets may be hidden oases for life. The energy comes not from starlight, but from gravity, the lurching push and pull of the host planet. Icy Enceladus has it all. A huge subsurface ocean with hydrothermal vents spewing the chemistry of life. It's so great. Titan is especially alluring, larger than Mercury and speckled with methane lakes and organic compounds. Like, even counting all of the really beautiful documentaries about space and stuff you've ever seen, this rivals all of that to me. This is absolutely phenomenal. In 2026, NASA plans to send a drone to Titan seeking out signs of life in its valleys and craters. The methane oceans of Titan, yeah, not a bad place to look. There may be up to 100 trillion exomoons in our galaxy alone, 100 times the number of planets. Whew. Some may even be Earth-sized with atmospheres and surface water. So many places to find life, it seems only a matter of time before we make a discovery. Some think we already have. Yep, could be lurking in misinterpreted data. On June 30th, 1976, the Viking lander on Mars found something that still remains unexplained. After being injected with nutrients, Martian soil samples expel signature radioactive gas, just like soils from Earth. sterilized soil, California soil, Martian soil. Mystery. Was this signal a natural phenomenon or our first encounter with alien biology? So the consensus from most scientists in the years since then have basically been that there was something in the soil mimicking life, but it wasn't actually life itself. And so, all the following missions over the next decades, they didn't carry any life detection experiments like Viking did. And in the years since Viking, perchlorate salts have actually been found in the Martian soil, right? And that's been suggested as like an explanation for the lack of organics seen by Viking, because basically they can destroy organics, right? But more recently, organics have been found in Martian rocks by the Curiosity rover. Simple and, some a bit more complex. Not only that, but some of them actually hint at having come from more previously complex organic molecules. But unfortunately, Curiosity is not equipped to detect whether or not these have a biological origin or not. The bottom line is that the principal investigator for that label release for the life detection experiments on the Viking landers, on Mars in the 1970s, he still maintains that they really did find evidence of microbial life in the Martian soil. So, go have a read into that further for yourselves. There's a lot more that I could say that we could talk about, but, we've paused the video for too long, so let's get back to it.
The discovery of just one bacteria on Mars, or any other body of the solar system, would indicate that the whole chain of evolutions, cosmic, chemical, and biological, is at work everywhere. In that case, the creation of life anywhere in the universe would be more the rule than the exception.
Chills. If we haven't found life already, it may not be long until we do. NASA scientists now think we're on the verge of discovery.
Within all of our lifetime, we're going to understand that there is life on other bodies in the solar system.
Maybe. That's a very certain view for a scientist to have.
Implications of that for evolution of life here on Earth. We're going to find planets around other stars that we can say we see potential signs of habitability in their atmospheres.
She's a little bit too certain for my liking. We
That's all
probably
happen
will.
In the next 10 to 20 years. How exciting is that?
Look, it is probable, and it looks pretty likely, but you really should never be this certain in science, because it could be another 1,000 years before we discover alien life. You just can't know these things for sure, and I don't think we should say stuff like that. Anyway.
We're on the verge of things that people have wondered about for millennia. Are we alone? And here we are on the verge of finding that out.
It's just so obvious that we're not alone. Like, here we are, we're here, why would we be alone? There's other Earth-like planets. So anyway. If we do find life out there, what will we discover about ourselves? That we're idiots. What chapter is Earth in the story of life?
The universe is nearly 14 billion years old, and our galaxy is something like 12 billion years old. So there could be life out there that could be dramatically more advanced than the life that we have here on this planet.
Is Earth a latecomer on the cosmic stage? Just how ancient could life be? Awesome. That was so cool. Oh wow. Let me rewind. I talked right at the worst time. Let's watch that again. Its first few million years, the cosmos was too hot for life as we know it. I don't even want to talk. This is just so beautiful. I just want to watch the ambient temperature that boiled you alive. When it was finally cool enough for life, there were no stars and planets, only huge lumbering clouds of hydrogen and dark matter. Huge amounts of dark matter. After 70 million years, gravity took hold of these clouds and spun them into the first generation of stars. First stars were massive and bright, but there was no life to watch them rise. How do we know that? I don't agree with that. Vital, heavy elements were still being forged in their hot stellar cores. Not even the Big Bang was hot enough to create them. Okay, so that's not correct. The Big Bang was actually too hot for like most atoms to even come together. That's why they didn't form then. It was too hot for anything. You know, it was the quark gluon plasma, right? You know, atoms hadn't it had to cool down before atoms could come together. And then it actually took like 380,000 years before the universe to cool down enough so light could even move around. We say the universe at that point became transparent, and that's when the first light, the microwave background radiation, was released. And we can see this. And we can see this light. It's the furthest thing we can see. But anyway, so yes, he's understanding, whoever made this, a little bit incorrect here. When the universe cooled down enough to, for atoms to form, and then, it was moving around for a long time as the universe was expanding, and eventually enough stuff come together, gravitational collapse, nuclear fusion, and eventually those things formed the heavy elements when they exploded for very specific reasons you can look into. So yeah, anyway, we'll leave it.
So were created in the Big Bang were hydrogen, helium, and a little bit of lithium. All the stuff that makes your life livable, those elements weren't created in the Big Bang. The only place they were created is in the fiery cores of stars. And the only way they could get into your body is if the stars were kind enough to explode.
Lawrence Krauss, always with the humor. Here's a funny quote that I've always loved, and it's like, if you want to tell someone the truth, make them laugh first, otherwise they'll kill you. You better make them laugh. And going back in history, that was probably very true. And it's an exaggeration, but I think even today, if you want to really actually tell someone a hard fact, you probably should try and make them laugh a little first. It's definitely a lot easier. The explosive death of the first mid-sized stars seeded the cosmos with the ingredients for life. From their ashes rose a second generation of suns, this time with rocky planets dancing around them. This is the moment the raw ingredients for life together for the first time, approximately 13.7 billion years ago. Life becomes possible. Some believe the conditions for life existed even earlier, in the warm afterglow of creation. 100%, 98% as we say around here. This is very Vangelis. As the heat from the Big Bang faded, the universe passed through a Goldilocks era. Some 15 million years after time began, the ambient temperature reached a balmy 75 degrees Fahrenheit. For millions of years, it was warm in all directions, like an endless summer day on Earth. Except there was no air. In theory, stars and planets could have formed this early on in hypothesized ultra-dense regions of space. Yep. If such regions existed, liquid water could have flowed abundantly, even on rogue planets far from any star. It's pretty fun to imagine this time. Would this have been the dawn of life? Alien beings feeding off the heat of the Big Bang. Somewhere out there, maybe a planet with life nearly as old as the universe itself. With a 10 million year head start, the universe could be teeming with life far more advanced than our own. Yeah, all of this, I'm not disagreeing with any of this. Despite decades of searching, no sign of alien life has ever been confirmed, intelligent or otherwise. So where is everybody? Could we really be all alone? Should go check out the videos we watched of Kurzgesagt, the alien one specifically, and we talk all about this stuff. And I speculate freely and I give you my opinions. Maybe primitive life is common, but intelligence is exceedingly rare. Maybe. Or maybe intelligence is around every single star system. We don't know. This is a very cool visual. It's like floating through, the Hubble Deep Field. These are all galaxies. Maybe space is just too vast for feasible communication. Maybe, but there might be other ways of communicating we haven't even discovered yet. Or maybe we are the first. Highly doubt it. Extremely doubt it. Could we be the opening chapter in a sprawling history of life? We could, all right, we could. Life on Earth. But it sure did take a long time for complex life to emerge, eukaryotic life. The universe is young and the vast majority of planets have yet to be born. The ingredients for life will be stewing for another 100 years. Yes, but do keep in mind that the, a lot of the universe's important history is already done with, galaxies. Star formation is generally slowing down in the universe, big time, and it's going to continue to slow down. So, there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff for sure, but we're definitely, there's a lot we could talk about here, okay? We've talked about it in other videos as well. So I think we keep going because this is such a long video. From this perspective, we are the dawn, the opening melody in a symphony of life. We really could be actually towards the end. You might be confused by this, and because, after when star formation ceases, right, and galaxies become quiescent, there's no star formation, well then, when stars die, what happens to the life around on those planets around the star? Well, if it didn't manage to escape the star system, it's doomed as well. And so eventually, all intelligent life that is sort of clinging to these planets could be doomed in galaxies because star formation is ceasing, and everything, eventually there'll be no stars in the sky either because the universe is also expanding and it's accelerating. So eventually, our little local group is going to be all alone because that's the only, that's the region which is, close together enough for gravity to still overcome dark energy, which is making everything else fly away from us very fast and increasing in speed. And so, eventually distant life, if it emerges, will look up and they won't be able to see a single star in the night sky. So yeah, him saying, all of this stuff is left, it's pretty depressing with what we currently think is going to happen. Anyway. Last star dies approximately 100 trillion years. Could be longer than that. What might come up long after us? Red dwarf stars can live up to 10 trillion years, bathing their planets in starlight for eons. Yep. Life is much more probable on these timescales where conditions are stable for vast periods of time. We were worried about red dwarfs for a long time because they're very, they shoot out a lot of flares, they're very active. And you have to be closer to a red dwarf, right? Because it's not as hot. But we've recently discovered they actually generally shoot out their flares at the poles. So it looks like life is possible. Any beings living close to these stars would have to contend with the violent solar flares. There you go. But as I just said, it looks like it is possible. Many of these planets would be tidally locked, one side permanently exposed to the sun, the other frozen in darkness. Yeah, so with TRAPPIST, the system, the real system we know about, that's not that far away. TRAPPIST 1e, it is tidally locked, just like they're saying here. So, and another thing I read recently as well, we think the climate variability on this TRAPPIST 1e will actually be more significant than that of Earth's because of this tidally locked. But as Earth has taught us, life is remarkably adaptable. Yeah, maybe it's just on that region where there's some sunlight and shade. What forms might life take when it has trillions of years to evolve? I don't know, man. That's pretty awesome. This looks like that, the ending of The Matrix when the AI, robot creatures created their own place. One day, somehow, the story of life will come to an end. Maybe. Maybe not. If we are the first chapter of that story, we have the chance to carry the torch of life far into the future. We could be the ending of it. But I agree. Let's carry that torch. That's amazing. Beautiful. And if biology does persist far into the future, then we live in a privileged moment. Yep. We're like a candle in the dark, as Carl Sagan said. In late chapters, the universe will seem far different. We've done videos on this, so you go check those out. The expansion of space-time will make distant stars invisible, and the night sky will go dark. Yep, I mentioned that. Should have waited. Should go check out the video, Time Lapse of the Universe. That's the one. It talks about the far future. Perhaps life in the far future will wonder what it was like to live in the universe's brilliant early days. Just as we did earlier in this video. We are lucky enough to know the answer. All we have to do is look up. Wow, what an incredible video. I think that's the end, so I'll catch you guys next time. It's already been long enough, and I hope you subscribe. Come check out CalVPN. See you next time.